Alright, you guys are welcome back to my channel. This is NETsolution. In today's class, we will treat about the continue statement and then the past statement. We have already treated on the break statement, and today we will start with the continue statement and then the past statement. Alright, so stick with me. Let us move ahead. Alright, the continue statement in Python. With the continue statement, we can stop the current iteration and continue with the next. All right, we can stop the current iteration and continue with the next in the continue statement. Now you can understand this using the break statement. The break statement breaks out of the loop. It breaks out of the loop. Once it encounters the condition, the loop will stop. But the continue statement will not cut the loop, but rather it will stop a certain iteration right there in the loop and continue with the next. All right, it will stop the current iteration and continue with the next. All right, now for example, let us try some example about the continue statement. So first, maybe we want to set a variable called fruit and we assign some fruits to it. All right, maybe apple, banana, and maybe cherry. All right, we assign these fruits to it. Or should I add another one? Maybe orange. Okay, we create a variable called fruit and then we assign 4 fruits to it. Now we want to make use of the continue statement. Remember, I told you guys that the continue statement doesn't break the loop, rather it will stop the current iteration and continue with the next. That's what the continue statement does. But the break statement will just break the loop. So for now, let us set a loop. We set a loop, say for x and fruits. Okay, now I want to do something on this loop. First, we check if s is equal to maybe banana. If s equal to banana, continue. All right, then we come down here and say print s. Now you can see this marked a red yellow line simply means that there's an error. Right, you can see it here. So we have to remove the indentation. This should be outside of the if statement because the continue statement will continue from the next iteration, not from this iteration. Now this iteration are done here. We have to take this back because after continue statement, any other block of code that is in this line, okay, any other block of code that is under the if statement will not be executed, but rather every other ones will continue. To break out of that loop after they continue, then continue with the next. All right, so right here, let's take this back. Okay, this is now a clear syntax for Python. Now once I run the program, we got apple, cherry, and banana. All right, we got apple, cherry, and banana. This is our value we got, but rather here we had apple, banana, cherry, and orange, but our output was apple, cherry, and banana. Why? As you guys can see here, we setted a value that says if s is banana, continue. So once it gets to banana, it will forget about the banana. The loop will end and then it will continue with some other code. All right, so what happens here is that the first iteration, it prints. Okay, let me add some value to make this more clearer. I may say print s. All right, for s in fruit, print s. Then we'll set a value that says if s equals to banana, continue. Okay, Here, let us add a print statement again that may print s. Okay, now we have three statements that will print s. All right, let us check. This should print the complete values. Let's run this. Here we had apple, apple, banana, banana, cherry, cherry, and orange, orange. So let's remove this. Okay, we have two statements that is printing s. So this is the value we got. Apple, apple, banana, cherry, cherry, orange, orange. Why is banana 1? Okay, why is it 1? We have how many of them here? This is apple, apple. This is apple. The apple is 2. Sorry. Let's check again. Apple is 2. Cherry is 2. Then orange. Orange is 2 as well. Why is banana just 1? All right. It's because of the continue statement. So let me explain to you guys. Right here, we stated the for loop, and then this is the iteration that prints everything. Remember, loops through the list. It will be looping them one after the other. So on the first iteration, this s printed the first value, okay, and the first value is apple. For the first iteration, it doesn't print all of them at once, but rather it prints apple at the first time, then comes down here and check this value. Now if s is equal to banana, continue. So now it have gotten to banana and the iteration has ended. The iteration will be ended. All right, so banana will not be printed. Now it comes down here and check this. The first one, it ended banana. The banana was not printed, so first one printed apple. Here should also print apple. So here printed apple as well. I'm sorry, it's printed apple as well. On the first iteration, this should print apple. This should also print apple. Okay, so the first iteration, this printed apple. So they came down here, s was not banana, so this block of code was not executed. Now the print statement printed banana also. So apple also. So right here we have 2 apples. The first that was printed from here and the next that was printed from here. Right, so on the next iteration, this after printing apple, the next one it prints banana. So it comes down here and check this if statement, this condition, and this condition was true. So this block of code was executed. Banana was not printed by this. Okay, this was unable to print banana because of this continue statement that checks this loop. All right, but the first iteration here printed apple on the first time and printed banana on the second time. So this next print statement printed only apple on the first time. Then on the second time, it was unable to print banana. So the loop ended there and returned back again and check. So on the next iteration, the print statement after printing apple, banana, the next one is printed cherry. Okay, we printed cherry, and they come back here again and check if this loop. Okay, and check this loop. Once they check here, s is not equal to banana, so this block of code will not be executed. So right here, s will print cherry as well. Okay, the first time it's printed banana, second time, sorry, first time it's printed apple, second time banana was not printed, then on the third time it's printed cherry. All right, so on the next iteration, this return back again because the continue statement doesn't break the loop. Now the print statement here printed orange on the next iteration, and then they came down here and checked this value was not true because s is no more banana, so this block of code will not be executed. Now this program will run, it will also print banana, it will also print orange. So this program here printed only, so this program here printed apple, banana, cherry, and then orange. And this one here printed apple, cherry, and orange. All right. So the first iteration is this. The first print statement printed apple. The second, which is this one printed apple. So this one also printed apple. All right. On the next iteration, this one printed banana, and this ended. It printed nothing. Now on the next iteration, this printed cherry, this cherry, and this also printed cherry. Right. So the next iteration, this printed orange, and this one here also printed orange. So that is why we got apple, apple, one banana, because this banana was printed by the first print statement. Then we get cherry, cherry. The both of them printed cherry, and the both of them printed orange. The both of them printed apple, but only the first one printed banana, because of this condition that says, for once you get to banana, forget about the other things and then continue with the next iteration. So the continue statement continues with the next loop, with the next code, with the next iteration, but it breaks the first iteration where it is into, while the break statement will break the loop. Okay. All right, the pass statement in Python. Okay, the pass statement does nothing. Okay, it does nothing. It can be used when a statement is required for a reason, but the program requires no action. The pass statement, it does nothing, but it can be used when a statement is required for a reason. Maybe you are required to write a function. Maybe you are required to apply a function name in so code, but the function has no value. Maybe you are asked to write a function name, include a function name in a so code, but the function has no action, it has no value. You don't want the function to do anything, just that you need the name. You know, once you define an empty function, maybe when you define an empty function, function cannot be empty, it will raise an error. It will raise an error. Function cannot be empty, it will raise an error. Or when you use the if statement or a for loop and stated a statement, you cannot leave the blank empty. You have to include some code right there. All right. So, but if you want to leave it blank, if you want to leave it empty, then you have to use the pass statement. Just include pass, and then it will ignore the block of code and then continue with others. The pass statement just act like to ignore something, to ignore this, ignore the error, ignore this, and continue with it. Okay, let us move to my ByCharm. Let me show you guys more so you can understand more about. So right here on my PyCharm, this is the previous code we stated on the continue statement. This is our previous code. Okay, now we want to include a pass statement. Now to briefly show you guys what pass statement does, like here we have a break statement. If I should remove this break statement now, there will be an error. You can see here there is an error showing here. You can see this red line. Okay, there's an error showing there. If I should run this code now, if I should run this, it will give me an error. You can now see it says indentation error. Okay, pass statement is used to ignore indentation error. It says indentation error, expected an indented block after if statement on line 4. Okay, indentation error. This simply means I have to, this block of code, the if statement doesn't have to be empty. Something must be written under the if statement. Like this block of code here, uh, this is not under the if statement. Any code that is under the if statement should start from here, like print this. Okay, so this block of code here stands on its own under the for loop and not under the if statement, but this is under the if statement. So let me remove this. It requires something. It tells me indentation error. Now what if I just want to ignore this? If I want to ignore this, then I have to use the pass statement. Now once I have included the pass statement, it just ignore the error and then continue the program. Now once I run this now, it doesn't give me an error again, but rather it worked. Okay, Now what's happened here is that we have printed apple, apple, banana, banana, cherry, cherry, and then orange, orange. Just like here we have the first print, like when we did on our continue statement. On the continue statement, we printed the first, and then like the first print here printed the apple, and then this one also printed the apple. All right, so that is what is going on there. That's what is going on there. Like the both of them printed the same thing. We have two apple, two banana, and then cherry. Then we also have orange. Okay, the both of them, each one printed. This printed apple, and then this also printed apple. This printed cherry, and this also printed cherry. This printed orange, and this also printed orange. So this if statement here takes no action. It takes no action. But when we included the past statement here, when we set a past statement here, it breaks it removes banana from the iteration. So that is just it. The past statement just ignores error. Just ignore it and then continue with what you are doing. So you can also see the past statement when we are asked to define a function, maybe def fruits. Then if I should just leave this function here and then come down here and be writing another thing, maybe s equals to 10, y equals to 20, print s plus y. Now if I should run this, it will give me error because the function is empty. It says indentation error. Okay, expected an indented block after function definition on line 1. So it expects me to add this block of code right there as indentation. Okay, like this. That's what it expects me to do. Okay, but that's not what I want to do. So to overlook this and print this value, you have to include a pass statement to tell Python, hey Python, forget about that function, I don't need it for now, let it be there. Okay, now once I include the pass statement and run this again, we got 30, which is s plus 20. So the function was overlooked. Okay, it was overlooked, it didn't function right there. So that is what the pass statement does. Okay, now what you can see it as if it is not useful because of this. No, it is very, very useful. Maybe you're writing a block of code, and then while writing a block of code, you have to define a function and which you don't really know what will be in that function at the moment. So instead of your block of code to be raising an error, just write the function name and then include pass right there. Now start making use of the function. Maybe you can say for the s is equals to s equals to orange. So for s in for I in s, then I called the function. You can now see I've called the function, but the function is empty. Nothing is right there in the function. Nothing is right there, but I'm able to call the function. So if I should remove this pass statement now, it raises an error. If I should also remove the function name, I cannot call a function that does not exist. You can see here, it shows a red line. If I should run this like this, it gives me an error. It says name fruit is not defined, which is this name here is not defined. So to overlook this error, maybe I don't really know what will be in this function called fruit, or I'm not ready to write the complete code about the function, but I just want to keep on coding. Later I'll write about the function. So just simply write the function and then include the name of the function, which is fruits. Then come down here and enter pass. Okay, now my block of code is ready and ready to go. So right here, the red line has left, means my code is correct. If I should run this now, let's see what will be the value. You can see it gives me nothing. My code, there was no error and there's nothing to display because the function has no value, but rather it's just to ignore. Okay, so this is how the pass statement does. It is used to ignore indentation, mainly indentation. It is used to ignore this or ignore something like that. Okay, so right now we have learned about the break statement. If you haven't watched the video about the break statement, check my description. You learn about the break statement, you learn about the continue statement, and then the pass statement. Okay, so if you are new to my channel, click on that subscription button and follow me up for more wonderful videos like this. Okay, you are welcome.